Good to be here. Good to see some familiar faces. First of all, I just want to start by saying anytime you're asked to return to a place that you helped build.
There are moments in sports that stop everything, moments where the noise fades, the crowd holds its breath, and suddenly, all that matters is one person, one decision, one message. This is one of those moments, because what just came out of the Indiana Fever organization is not just a statement that IT is not just a press release carefully worded by a PR team. What Fever President Kelly Krauskopf just sent out into the world regarding Caitlin Clark's 2026 season is something that players, fans, analysts, and even critics cannot afford to ignore. And if you think you already know what she said, think again, because the real story here goes far deeper than the headlines, far deeper than what most people are willing to say out loud. Let's go back. Let's rewind to the moment everyone thought they understood Caitlin Clark. It was the spring of 2024. She had just concluded one of the most electrifying college careers in the history of American basketball. She had broken records. She had built an audience. She had transcended the sport before she ever played a single professional minute. The WNBA draft night felt like a coronation. She went first overall to Indiana, a franchise with a proud history, but one that had been searching, genuinely, urgently searching for something to reignite it. And here she was. Think about what that pressure feels like. You are 22 years old. Every camera in the building is pointed at you. Every expectation that the league has spent years building is now resting on your shoulders. You are not just expected to be good. You are expected to save franchises, revive interest, sell tickets, fill arenas, change the cultural conversation around women's basketball. That is not a basketball job. That is something else entirely. That is a weight that would buckle most people before they ever laced up their first pair of professional shoes. And yet, she played. She showed up, she competed, and what happened next became one of the defining sports stories of the modern era. The 2024 WNBA season was not a perfect fairy tale for Caitlin Clark. That needs to be said clearly and without softening. There were struggles. There were moments of adjustment. The professional game is different. Faster in some ways, more physical in others, and relentlessly unforgiving in ways that college basketball simply is not. Defenders who had watched her film for months came into games with specific, detailed plans to take away what she does best. She was fouled hard. She was challenged. Physically, she was tested in ways that college could never have prepared her for. And yet, here is what the numbers actually say. Stripped of narrative and free from agenda, Caitlin Clark, in her rookie WNBA season, averaged over 19 points per game. She led the league in assists. She set a rookie scoring record that had stood for decades and shattered it. She became the first rookie in WNBA history to record multiple 30-point games. She was not just good, she was historically productive. And the Fever, a team that had been mired in irrelevance for years, became must-watch television from coast to coast. But here is what the numbers cannot capture. Here is what at the box score never tells you. Caitlin Clark changed the economic reality of the Indiana Fever and, by extension, of the entire WNBA. Road game attendance records fell one by one as she traveled into opposing cities. Merchandise sales surged in ways the league had never seen from a single player. Television ratings climbed, streaming numbers exploded. Arenas that had been half full for years were suddenly selling out weeks in advance. Her presence created a financial ecosystem around women's basketball that analysts had only theorized about but never actually witnessed at this scale. That is not nothing. That is not a footnote. That is a seismic shift. But even with all of that, even with the records and the ratings and the revenue, there was a question hanging over everything as the 2024 season ended and 2025 began its approach. A question that Fever fans, WNBA fans, and even casual observers were afraid to ask directly. Could she sustain it? Could the physical toll, the media pressure, the expectations, the scrutiny, could all of that be managed in a way that allowed Caitlin Clark to grow rather than diminish? Could a 23-year-old shoulder this indefinitely? That question had an answer coming, and the 2025 season would provide it. Going into 2025, the Indiana Fever made meaningful changes around Caitlin Clark. They understood, with clarity, that her development required infrastructure. You do not take a generational talent and simply throw them into the fire repeatedly without building something around them. They added pieces. They adjusted systems. They created an environment where Clark could evolve not just as a scorer, not just as a distributor, but as a complete leader of a professional basketball team. And the results? The results were extraordinary. Her shooting efficiency ticked upward. Her decision-making sharpened in the fourth quarter, which is where basketball games are actually won. She showed a defensive intensity that her critics had used as a talking point against her, and she met it with something they did not expect: growth. Genuine, undeniable, measurable growth. The Fever became a playoff team with an identity. They were not just Caitlin Clark's team in name. They were her team in practice, in culture, in expectation. When the games mattered, she made plays. When the moment was biggest, she rose to meet it. And yet, the story did not end there, because great players always face another test. They always encounter the next wall, the next challenge, the next version of doubt that they have to stare down and overcome. The question that arrived as 2025 wound down and 2026 began to take shape was this: what comes next? What does the ceiling actually look like? And more pressing than any of that, what is the Indiana Fever organization, the people responsible for building around and supporting Caitlin Clark, actually believe about who she is and who she is becoming? Kelly Krauskopf answered that question, and she answered it in a way that nobody was fully prepared for. Kelly Krauskopf has been around professional basketball for a very long time. She has seen players come through organizations. She has seen hype cycles build and collapse. She has watched the machinery of professional sports chew up talent with great expectations and spit out cautionary tales. She is not someone who speaks recklessly. She is not someone who manufactures enthusiasm for the sake of a press cycle. When Kelly Krauskopf says something definitive about a player, you listen because she means it. What she communicated about Caitlin Clark's 2026 season was not a standard preseason endorsement. It was not the kind of boilerplate statement organizations release to keep fans engaged during the offseason. It was specific. It was pointed, and it carried the weight of someone who has watched this player up close, every day, in practice and in competition, and in the quiet moments between games when the real character of an athlete reveals itself. The core of what Krauskopf conveyed was this: Caitlin Clark is entering her 2026 season at a level of preparedness and intentionality that the organization has not seen before. Not in her rookie year, not in her sophomore campaign. What they are seeing now is something different in kind, not just degree. The focus is sharper, the conditioning is at another level, the tactical understanding she has developed, not just of her own game, but of how defenses construct their strategies around her and how she can systematically dismantle those strategies, has crossed into territory that suggests this is not just a developing star. This is a player on the verge of something definitional. Think about what that means. Think about what it says when he's president of a franchise. Someone with full visibility into what a player is doing in the gym, in the film room, in the meetings with coaches, comes out and says, essentially, that what they are witnessing right now is different, that the preparation is different, that the player standing in front of them is not the same player who walked in 2 years ago, or even 1 year ago. That is not a press release. That is a signal. And people who pay attention to signals, who understand that the best franchises communicate through them, should be paying very close attention right now. Let's talk about what this means for the 2026 WNBA season as a whole. Because Caitlin Clark's trajectory does not exist in a vacuum, it exists inside a league that has been transformed in measurable and documentable ways by her presence. And as she prepares to enter what could be her most impactful season yet, the ripple effects go far beyond Indiana. Other teams have had 2 years to study her, 2 years to scheme against her, 2 years to devise defensive systems specifically calibrated to minimize her impact. And that matters. It matters because the best players in sports history, the ones who transcend their positions and define eras, are not great despite the fact that everyone knows what they're going to do. They are great because even when everyone knows, they still cannot stop it. That is the mark of a player moving into genuine greatness. Not the ability to surprise, the ability to execute even when nothing is hidden. Even when the defense knows, even when they have prepared specifically, she does it anyway. The reports coming out of Fever training from multiple sources beyond just Krauskopf's statement suggests that Clark has spent the offseason working on the specific aspects of her game that defenses have targeted.